I want to ask a question to a gal here. According to Paul O'Keefe, Maddison has been suffering with an ongoing, recurring issue on his ankle. Do you think that could be a potential reason why? There's been a lot of questions asked this year. Why haven't Arsenal's, why haven't Man United's, why haven't bigger clubs than Spurs, and I mean that with respect, gone in for him? Could it be that there of this injury? There's always been question marks over his injury record, and now it turns out that he has a persistent ankle injury, which could make him miss 3 months of the season. Do you think that's a reason why some teams may have swerved Maddison in the past if he does have these injury problems?
I think people just went for a different profile of player. So, like, I know Chelsea went for a younger player. Arsenal, I don't think the injuries would have stopped us from signing Maddison. If we wanted Maddison, we've signed players that are injured before Terrace. So I don't think that's the main reason. I just think people are looking at Maddison. He came off a season where Leicester got relegated, and I think Tottenham and Newcastle were the only two teams really in for him. So maybe Newcastle shifted their focus elsewhere, and Tottenham capitalized. I don't think it had anything to do with the injury. But the injury right now, it's going to be concern for Tottenham, because if he is one of their best players and he becomes in and he has reoccurring injuries going forward, it could be a problem. But at this moment in time, it's too early to tell.
And I mean, he's missed he's only had one season where he's missed 12 games in a season. So any other season that he's played for Leicester, the most he ever missed was 6. So it hasn't really been as big as people are making it out to be. There's little niggles here and there. He hasn't missed a game for us yet this year. So
he's going to miss a game now. So that's the point. That's why we're talking about
injuries happen.
Yeah, of course. And we're going to have to see how you weather it, because as I said earlier, our squad depth might not be the best at Arsenal, but yours is paper thin. So we're going to this is where Ange Postecoglou is actually going to be tested. And I think to this point, you guys have been riding high with not too much controversy.
I don't think your squad's near as deep as you think it is, right? And then I
didn't say my squad is deep. I actually said the opposite.
Your guys is as paper thin as ours, I think.
Not that accurate, bro. You got who's going to be playing?
So you agree? So what's that, Gal? Hang on, stop it, Gal. So you agree with it, Gal? Then that Spurs' squad's way for thin.
Yeah, of course. We don't even have a full starting 11.
Okay.
We start our starting 11 is really only 9 to 10 players, right? We have to play. What was it, Richarlison on the left, or something like that. So I mean, it's.
But you think your squad's as strong as Arsenal's, though, overall, player for player? Is that what you're saying?
Player. Yeah. Sure.
This is laughable at this point.
Really?
So who in the Arsenal squad is the one that they don't really start with?
Well, I mean, who do they have in midfield for depth, right? Thomas Partey's out. Who they have to play? Havertz? Or do you have to play
Fabio
Vieira? I mean, Pep Matasar is better than Vieira.
Hey, we're coming down to subjective decisions at this point. Let's be honest, though. What's your expectations? Because our expectation is to challenge for the league and to compete on all competitions. What are yours? If your squad is as good as ours, you should be challenging.
Where are we in the league right now compared to yours?
It's still early. Are you going to keep this up?
We're 2 points ahead of you. So if our squad was as good as yours, we should be finishing in the same, close to where you guys are, and we are.
So you genuinely believe you're going to finish close to Arsenal this season? Because I think
we'll finish above you this season.
Oh, based on what? Based on how you performed in a couple games?
Yes, based on how we performed in a couple of games.
Okay. So in case you've never been here before, 10 games doesn't determine.
I get that.
Will,
sorry, let me just jump in for a second here. So, Will, from your point of view, what makes you believe in Tottenham, and why do you think they'll be sustainable this year? Finishing, I think you'll make top 4. I agree with that. But what makes you think you'll finish above Arsenal and maintain the levels you're at now?
So from a chance creation perspective, we're creating some of the most chances in the league, most shots on target. We have Son Heung-min finishing up top. He only needs 1 to 2 chances a game to get 2 goals. On the flip side of that, Arsenal, their chance creation is 13th, 14th, 15th in the league. They can't do anything with that. Their strikers can't finish. They're performing below even their XG. So why wouldn't we be winning more games if we're creating more chances and scoring more goals and scoring more frequently?
The one question I would have for you on that is that James Maddison is the second highest chance creator in the league. Mm-hmm. If he misses 2 months, 3 months, how do you truly believe the Lo Celsos of this world, etc., can create at the level of James Maddison, which is up there with the Bruno Fernandez's, the KDB numbers, the Trent Alexander-Arnold numbers? Do you think that somebody else in your squad can match those numbers and break the lines like James Maddison to maintain that?
Yeah, so somebody's going to have to step up. How that affects the chance creation, we'll have to see. Can Lo Celso do it? Yes, I've seen him do it for Argentina. Has he done it for Spurs? No, he hasn't. He did it somewhat in Spain. Was key in the Villarreal round in the Europa League and stuff like that. So it's a possibility. Is it a high likelihood that Lo Celso can fill that gap? No. I've seen Bentancur do it. Right, Bentancur was in the first half of last season when we were actually getting results. Was the main creator in that midfield. Right, had the most chances created. Was one probably. I had him as player of the season, even over Harry Kane at the beginning of last season until he got injured just after the World Cup. But it just depends on who steps up in that. We'll have to wait and see. Is Maddison, Son in the first 3 games playing from the left actually was creating more chances than Maddison was in those first 3 games? Since Son's moved to the middle, obviously his chance creation is dropped because that's not his role anymore. So there are other players that can do it. It's just a matter of time to see. If that doesn't happen and our chance creation drops to say like the levels of Arsenal's, right? Then it's a different argument, right? But I can't say that will happen.
I mean, we see chance creation of Arsenal. Both Arsenal and Spurs averaged 23 attempts on goal per game. You both create similar numbers of outputs. I want to ask Liverpool. I want to ask Lewis. Do you see there being a drop off with Maddison, or do you think Lo Celso or Bentancur can step up and create 2.5 to 3 chances per game like Maddison's been doing?
Nah, I disagree with Will, man. I think not for me at all. I think this is the end of any sort of title hopes any Tottenham fans have. And for me, being genuinely serious, I think this is now damage limitation. I think Tottenham's season, their expectation should be the top 4. I think that is a reasonable expectation. And this next 2 to 3 months could determine whether or not they're going to get the top 4. You know what I mean? I don't see any world in which they can challenge for the league now with the injuries they've got, including
I said third. I didn't say challenge.
I didn't say you did. I'm just saying some Tottenham
No,
fans.
but to say you're going to finish above Arsenal means you're going to challenge, because we're going to challenge for the league this season.
No, I don't think you are.
Another thing you seem to have forgotten to mention is the defense. The defensive side of our game has been our main thing that we've been going based off this season, which kept us in all these games, which kept us competing for this league right now, which is keeping us at this top of the table, where I don't know how you're going to manage not only with your midfield issues now that Maddison's injured, but with your defense, with the red cards and the injuries. You're just to weather the storm for the next couple of games might be difficult for you, let alone keep this up for the rest of the season. So I find it laughable that you think a manager in his first season with a new team is going to be able to compete for this league title or even be close to Arsenal or Man City at the end of the season.
Well, I mean, Romero's not out for months. He'll be back in 3 games, right?
Romero, yeah, I know.
Yeah, and Adoji's
what are those
not
3
out
games?
for months. He'll be back.
No. Name those 3 games, please.
Wolves, Villa, City. I already did.
Yeah, you're going to lose 3 of those.
No, we won't.
Yeah, you will.
I was going to say,
no, we won't.
You're already like your defense is already quite middling in the league, and that's with your best players. So
our defense isn't middling in the league.
It is middling in the league.
No, we actually have conceded less open play goals than Arsenal have.
You've conceded 13 goals.
That's not the metric I'm going to use, because for all I'm saying.
Then what is the defense? What defense?
For me,
how's our defense middling?
Your expected goals against is middle of the pack. Like you're level with Nottingham Forest.
Your goalkeeper takes some of the most shots in the league.
I mean, look, again, open play I get, but non-open play goals count, don't they? At the end of the day,
yeah, they count.
Man United are shocking this year, and we've only conceded 3 more goals than you. So I don't think and I know 4 came in 1 game, but we've had a few games where we've been slapped up as well. Like I agree, like you score goals, but a lot of that was from the creation of Maddison. You've been conceding. You've now got your best defenders now out. My concern for Tottenham would be if your manager maintains, I'm not saying the high line he did when you went down to 10 and 9 men. Van der Ven, and I've praised him in nearly every show I've spoken about Spurs this year, reminds me of Rio Ferdinand, reminds me of Van Dijk in terms of the recovery pace. Losing the amount of times I've seen teams get in behind, but he has caught them up.
Yeah.
To play the same way, and you don't have a player that can catch them up with pace. Romero can't do that. He doesn't even play on that side. You're going to concede more goals, in my opinion. Now, that's not me being disrespectful to you or being disrespectful towards Tottenham. It's just looking at what I've seen when your team's been at its best and thinking, well, you remove those quality players. I was just looking at the numbers here. Bentancur, he averages 0.7 chances created per game. The highest the Celso's ever had anywhere in his career is 1.5 per game. Maddison's averaging nearly 3. You've got no one in your squad to replace that chance creation over a 2 to 3 month period. In a couple of games, sample size, of course, it's doable. And defensively, you were going to miss Van der Ven so much. There's a reason why your fans turned on Eric Dyer. There's a reason why the man didn't even want your social media people filming him because they didn't think they'd use it because he knows how much. And the reason he's so disliked is because how bad he is. It's going to cause problems. Now, I still think you can make the top 4. I do. But I'll be honest with you, and I know you think it's because I'm not a real Man United fan, but I don't see how you can be confident of finishing front of Arsenal because most Liverpool fans are not even confident they're finishing
even
front of Arsenal.
Even Liverpool, Terry. I mean, I don't know where this confidence is coming from. How can you sit there and say you're going to finish above Arsenal? I don't think you finish above Liverpool, bro, to be honest.
But we're not finishing
Where do
above
you think you're
Liverpool.
gonna finish,
You didn't
Will?
ask me who finishes.
That's
in
what I was
second
going to
and
ask,
first.
Will. After you said you'll finish for Arsenal, I was literally going to ask you, so who's your 1 to 4?
Yeah, so City,
Yeah.
Liverpool, Tottenham, Arsenal,
Fair.
and then Newcastle, Villa, whoever fits in that 5th spot.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Where's my
Chelsea,
club?
I'm
I just
sorry,
don't
it's not.
see it.
It's not.
Where's
happening.
my club? We're
You know what?
Yeah,
Sorry,
David,
guys.
we're dusted, bro. We are dusted. Man United and Chelsea ain't being mentioned, my bro. Listen, I like the confidence at the end of that. I'm just trying to understand. I know that 2023 questions are upon the edge of being banned from society. Questions are bad. I just like to understand people's logic and where people are coming from and why they think it.
Questions.
Go on.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go
I
on.
was going to
Go-
say quickly with Spurs, Will. I think you have similar problems to my club. Yeah, I never considered you as title challengers at all because there's no evidence just yet. But I said if Spurs were to, if I was to start considering them, their 1 to 11 would have had to stay fit until January. Then you would have had to reinvest, similar to what we kind of have to do. And the fact that what there never will kind of happen, you would pick up key injuries to key players. I just think that I still think you'll get top 4. I'm not with this notion that our Spurs top 4 hopes might be in danger now. I still think you'll get top 4. But the title challenge, for that to be realistic, you would have had to keep your best players fit to at least January.
I don't think the title challenge was very realistic either. Like I'm not Harry. I think he's a nice
Yeah.
guy. and Harry's a good dude.
Look, I want to move on. I want to move on and talk a little bit about Arsenal, but I'm going to ask us. I want us to do something. I want us to be grown up about this, and I'm kind of
Sure.
talking to you a little bit, Gal, here, and this is not a dig. When people criticize your club, I don't want you to say, yeah, but your club. I want us to stay. I watched a lot of political debates recently, and that's all politicians do. When they get challenged about something they've done, they deflect it onto something somebody else has done. I want to try and keep it on. Do you get where I'm coming from, right? Because I want to do that.